My name is Dr. Louis Ariaza. What we're going to do right now is we're going to discuss, and it's going to be a little informal, but we know because the Spartan culture is growing so quickly, because we are growing into other cities, other states, other countries, we need to put out this video quite quickly so people can get an understanding of exactly what it is that they're talking about. Now, at the end of the day, it's not a product that's going to change your life. It is a system of products that are going to change your life. So therefore, the system that we, in our Spartan culture, the system that we use is a system that's called the 1092 Mega Pack, okay? And now, the reason a lot of times where people may not promote the 1092 Mega Pack, it is primarily because they don't fully understand the value of a 1092 Mega Pack. So I'm going to go into some of the details. Again, we're not going to go too far into details because you don't need to be a nutrition specialist, and definitely you don't need to be Dr. Joe Wallach to understand how to take this and why to take this. So the foundation of all the mega packs in longevity is the 90 for life. The 90 for life comes in two separate packages. It comes in what's called the original 90 for life, and it also comes in the 2.0 90 for life. I'm going to discuss more than the original one. The original 90 for life is made up of three components. It is made up of your essential fatty acids, your omegas. It is made up of your OsteoFX, your Beyond OsteoFX, and it is made up of your famous Beyond Tangy Tangerine. So we're going to begin with the BTT, what we call the BTT, what's called the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Now, in order for a cell to work, in order for a cell to duplicate, in order for a cell to regenerate, every single 90 days, your entire body regenerates except your central nervous system. If we exclude the brain, the spinal cord, and the nerves, every single cell in your body is going to regenerate. Your liver, your spleen, your kidney, your muscles, your tendons, your ligaments, your skin, your nail, your hair, everything's going to regenerate. In order for a cell to regenerate, it needs two components. One is your proper thoughts, and we can talk about that later. But two is the proper nutrition. In order for a cell to regenerate, it needs five components, the five major components. It needs the minerals, vitamins, amino acids, essential fatty acids, and antioxidants, all of which are found in your 90 for life Beyond Tangy Tangerine. There's a lot of products out there. There's some great mineral products, it's just not complete. There's some great vitamin products, they're just not complete. There's some great drinks that are filled with antioxidants, they're just not complete. And that is why you will see other products give you a temporary relief. It may even remove certain symptoms, but it won't go to the root. It won't go to the cause. When you give this to your body is going to begin to regenerate. Everyone, just like after a workout, you're thirsty, you drink water, it quenches your thirst. When you're hungry, you eat, it quenches your desire for food. When your body needs the nutrients, and you give the body the proper nutrients, the body's health is going to begin to restore. Remember, we're not treating the condition, we're fortifying your health. It's a big difference. So it really doesn't, the name of the condition isn't really important, whether you call it diabetes, or you call it lupus, or you call it gastrointestinal conditions, or you call it reflux. That's not important. What's important is that we are regenerating your system. We're adding in that, we're making the organ back, we're adding integrity to the organ by giving it what it's missing. Minerals, vitamins, amino acids, essential fatty acids, and antioxidants. That is in here. Now, I want to clarify. You're going to take this for every 1 scoop for every 50 pounds. Okay, let's be clear. 1 scoop for every 50 pounds. So if you weigh 150, you're going to take 3 scoops in a container of water. For someone that's just starting off, my recommendation is always to take it after you've eaten so the food can serve as a buffer, because this is very powerful. You're going to see a very positive change in a short period of time. So after breakfast, especially at the beginning, you want to take your scoops, 1 scoop for every 50 pounds. If you weigh 200 pounds, 4 scoops. If you weigh 250, 5 scoops. If you weigh 300, 6 scoops. If you weigh 350, well, then we're going to have to take a lot more than just for someone weighs 350. So scoop for every 50 pounds. Let's be clear with that, okay? And this is called 90 for life, because you're going to take this for the rest of your life. We're not treating the symptoms, we're going to the root. The second component is your omegas, omegas 3, 6, and 9. Okay, now these omegas are really, really powerful. Your central nervous system is protected by a sheath. This sheath is called the myelin sheath. Over time, things begin to degenerate, right? Your joints begin to degenerate. They don't have to degenerate that fast. Your myelin sheath begins to degenerate. So when your myelin sheath begins to degenerate, now we have issues. We have central nervous system issues. And it can range from all kinds of issues. It can range from anxiety to panic attacks to Alzheimer's to Parkinson's to dementia to forgetfulness, right? Just the inability to remember or recall things. So therefore, we're going to give the body the omegas 3, 6, and 9 to restore the integrity of the nervous system and restore the integrity of the cardiovascular system. So anyone that has any issues with the central nervous system or the cardiovascular system, they're going to be taking 3 omegas per day, sometimes 6, sometimes 9, depending upon their weight and depending upon what health state they're in at that moment. Beyond OsteoFX, and I always tell people, it took me 7.5 years, and over $200,000 to earn my degree as a doctor of chiropractic. And they told us many things. And one thing that they conditioned us to believe was that when you have arthritis, there's only 2 things you can do: pain medication or joint replacement therapy. I paid $200,000 so they can lie to me, because that is not all you can do. This is called Beyond OsteoFX, beyond more than osteobone FX's function. This is beyond the function of a joint, beyond the function of a bone. When you give this to the body, now this is 1 capsule for every 100 pounds. When you give this to the body, it's going to find its way to the cartilage within the joints, and with the perfect combination of magnesium, manganese, phosphorus, and boron, and the glucosamine sulfate. Everyone has heard of glucosamine. It's like the thing to talk about. It's the thing to take, glucosamine. But when it's synthesized with sulfate, it's going to penetrate the cartilage. It's going to penetrate the chondrocyte, and it's going to start to regenerate those chondrocytes. So you're actually going to have a new protection over the bone. When people say, when people talk about arthritis, psoriatic arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, and they're talking about degeneration of the bone, it's not really the bone that degenerates, but it's the protection around the bone, which is cartilage, that degenerates, okay? Now, this cartilage, right, is formed, and it's there to protect the joint, along with the bursa and the synovial fluid and all the liquids in that joint, right? The tendons, the ligaments, the structures that hold the integrity of the joint. But when you are getting a little older, or you've had trauma, sports, or work, or you've had micro trauma, you're constantly walking on heels, that's for women, you're putting a wallet in your back pocket, you're carrying a heavy purse, you're lifting kids, you're having kids, you're doing work at home, repetitive micro trauma and macro trauma is going to degenerate the body. It's going to degenerate the joint. It's going to wear and tear on the cartilage, and that's why people, when they take this, they see an amazing response in a very short period of time. Now, this right here is what you call your 90 for life. And I love it when people ask me, they say, Dr. Lewis, so how long do we take this for? What's called 90, the 90 essential nutrients, for life, right? So you're going to take it 90 for the rest of your life, right? Some people kind of like ask, well, gosh, why do I have to take it for the rest of my life? Well, it's the same reason why we eat well for the rest of our lives. It's the same reason why we drink water for the rest of our lives. It's the same reason why we should exercise for the rest of our lives. Because we live in a toxic environment. What we breathe is toxic. What we eat is toxic. What we drink is toxic. So you have to protect yourself. And I tell people, you're better off having this once a month than getting sick. Because getting sick is a lot harder, and it costs a lot more than just ordering this every single month. Now, another product, and it's probably, I gotta admit, it's probably our favorite product, is what we call the pollen burst, okay? Now, the pollen burst works perfect with the 90 for life. The pollen burst has what's called SOD, superoxide dismutase. Now, this is a natural chemical that is found in the body. And this is produced by the body to lower the inflammation process. Let me talk just a little about inflammation. Inflammation is good. Inflammation is used to compress joints, compress different parts of the body so we don't use it. The reason why inflammation is painful is because in the process of filling those areas with extra fluid, it creates a distension in the skin and the tendons and the ligaments, which have a lot of nociceptors, and that's where your pain is coming from. It's not the actual inflammation, but it's the stretching of the other soft tissue that causes the pain. But inflammation is an innate reaction to the body to protect it, right? But what do most people do? They take what's called anti-inflammatories, steroidal and non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, and that's the worst thing we can do. What we should do is believe more in the power of the body. You give the body the pollen burst, and the pollen burst will make its way to the appropriate areas in the body, and it's going to naturally decrease the inflammation while it's going to bring the minerals and vitamins for the healing process. So a lot of people take this in conjunction because we want to decrease inflammation naturally and heal the areas appropriately, right? See, I have 3 boys. My Elijah's 7, Isaiah's 9, and Fabiana's 15. If Isaiah rolls his ankle, it may swell a little bit, but in 24 to 48 hours, he's going to be fine. If I have the same accident, it may take 4 to 5 days, and I'll be fine. But if my mom or my mother-in-law, who are 86, 90 years old, roll their ankle, they may have swelling for a month. It may take them 6 months to get well because they have less production of SOD. And you take this, you're going to see a very immediate response. And this is probably the best tasting product in the company. It is outrageous. I personally have to stop myself. Yesterday, I'm going to tell you a secret. Yesterday, I took 3 of these things because they were so tasty, okay? I have to personally stop myself from drinking this like Tang or Kool-Aid back in the day because it is unbelievable. So something else that is just part of our staple every single day is Glucogel. Again, you start seeing a pattern. Glucogel, Beyond Osteo Effects, Pollen Burst. Now, Glucogel is phenomenal for any type of soft tissue issue. Bones, tendons, ligaments, muscles, anyone that is having an issue. When I was 23 years old, you know, when you're young, you do things that, you know, later you reflect and you're like, what was I thinking? I entered a bench press competition when I was very, very young. I won, right? But in the process, I had a very slight tear to one of my rotator cuffs, right? So part of my rotator cuff. This really saves me every single day, okay? Because this brings the nutrients, the close to me, into my tendons, into my ligaments, so I can function every day. So I can have a functional life, so I can live without any discomfort. This Glucogel, especially if you have any type of joint issue, muscle issue, arthritic issue, any type of mobility issue, this is phenomenal. And we even give this, we have 3 puppies. We have a Siberian Husky, and we have 2 puppy Rottweilers. As you know, Rottweilers have a tendency of having hip dysplasia. My puppy has hip dysplasia, and it started at a very young age. So he takes Glucogel, and it makes a huge difference. Right now, this is amazing. And all these products, they work in unison. That's why, like I said, we promote the system, the 1092 Megapack system. There's other systems, but this is the one that we promote the most. This here is, and I keep repeating this is the staple in our home because it is, selenium. This is what gave Dr. Wallach his Nobel Prize nominee for the work he did with selenium. He did work where he gave people 500 micrograms of selenium. These are people that had cancer. 500 micrograms of selenium. Plus, of course, he completely eliminated anything that feeds those conditions, that feed those diseases. He removed sugar. He removed gluten. He increased the water intake. He changed the way people ate. And he had a tremendous result. This is the strongest natural antioxidant. The challenge with selenium is that it's not found in, it's not a high mineral found in the land here in the United States. So we don't have a high resource. We can't eat enough selenium. So we have to take it from an external perspective. And that's why we take anywhere from 3, 6, 9, up to 15 selenium a day. Again, depending on the person's age, depending on the person's weight, depending on the person's health status. Selenium is powerful for antioxidants, for free radicals. What are free radicals? Everything is a free radical. Too much sun produces free radicals. The toxins of foods produces free radicals. The pesticides, the herbicides, the chemicals, synthetic chemicals produce free radicals. Prescription medication produces free radicals. Soda, sugar produces free radicals. Everything produces free radicals. Any condition that you know has an area that can be worsened because of the amount of free radicals. So this antioxidant is going to come and diminish the production of the free radicals. And free radicals are real important, are real interesting, because when you have a free radical, it's a cell that's missing one of the electrons. So a cell can't function well without the proper number of electrons on the outer layer. So it's going to hook itself up to another cell so it can use that electron. Then now it's made that one deficient, and so on and so on and so on. And next thing you know, you have big problems. You have fibroid cysts. You have tumors, whether they're benign or malignant. You have all kinds of, you have lipomas. All those things are coming partly because we live in an environment and we live in a time that the world is filled with free radicals. So we have to protect ourselves with our antioxidants, okay? So we've covered the 90 for life. We've talked about the beyond osteo effects. We've talked about the omegas. We've talked about the polymers. We've talked about the glucogel. We've talked about the selenium. Now, this right here is very, very powerful. Dr. Einstein did an investigation, a study in 1972, and he found out that people that were diabetic, not diabetic type 1. Diabetic type 1 is a problem with the pancreas. It is a problem with the islets of Langerhorn. Within the islets of Langerhorn, there are some things called beta cells. Beta cells is what secretes the insulin from the pancreas. When you have diabetes and you're type 1, it used to be called infant onset diabetes, right? But now they refer to it as insulin and non-insulin dependent, because unfortunately many type 2 diabetes convert themselves into type 1 in today's time. But 30, 40 years ago, you can have type 2 and you can live with type 2 for a very, very long time and never be insulin dependent. Okay, so the type 1 is insulin dependent because there is a problem with the beta cells secreting the proper function and the proper amount of insulin. Now, can we help type 1? We can. We definitely can. Is it going to remove you is it going to stop you from taking insulin? I can't say that it will. But remember that you have a closed circuit. The endocrine system is a closed circuit. If the pancreas is stressed out, it stresses out the spleen. The spleen is stressed out, it stresses out the liver. If the liver stresses out, it stresses out the gallbladder. The gallbladder stresses out, it stresses out the kidneys. Kidneys stress out, it stresses out the heart. And the heart is stressed out, it stresses out the lungs. So it's all a closed circuit. So therefore, it's not if your pancreas is functioning a little more or not functioning well, we can definitely take our supplements to bring support to all the other organs so it can reduce the stress and the performance of those so we can live longer, healthier, and happier. So here it is, sweeties. What Dr. Einstein found out in diabetes 2, right? He found out that it wasn't an insulin issue. What it was that at the cell, there is a receptor. This receptor, the insulin was coming from the pancreas, but it wasn't getting into the cell. It wasn't opening the cell so the glucose in the blood can go into the cell and you can do what, you use the glucose to form ATP. That's the most simple form of energy, and that's how we function. But it wasn't getting in. And when it doesn't get in and you're not forming the proper amount of ATP, that's why people who are diabetic or have a high blood sugar level, that's why they feel very lethargic. That's why they feel very lightheaded. That's why they're always tired, because the cells are not producing ATP because of the lack of glucose within that cell. But what he realized is that it wasn't the function of the insulin or the lack thereof of the insulin. It was the receptor on the cell. Now, this receptor is made up of about 20 different minerals, but the two most popular minerals, okay, are the chromium and vanadium. That's what this has in the selenium, in the sweeties. The sweeties has an excess of chromium and vanadium. And what Dr. Einstein saw in 1972 was that if you take sweeties and you supplement the 20 minerals, especially with the 90 for life, but you add a little more of the chromium and vanadium, which comes in here, then that receptor site will be fortified appropriately. It's going to open up and the glucose is going to get in. And I'm telling you right now that after 70,000 people in our organization, this is extraordinary. And even people who aren't diabetic take this, because the proper insulin production is a big part of weight loss. You want to regulate your insulin in order to remove the extras adipose that your body has. You want to regulate the insulin in order to turn your body into a fat burning machine. So this system, we take this every single day. Now, 4 years ago, this little BTT right here, Beyond, he was looking for a partner. And he found the perfect mate. And the perfect mate was what we call the liver detox system. I always pause because I always feel like people have to clap this moment. So, but we don't have anyone here, so I'll just clap for myself. Okay. So when the BTT, if you're watching this, you can clap. After you detox, you will be clapping. I promise you. The BTT and the liver detox, that is like the most amazing combination. So let me tell you why the liver is so important. The liver is considered to be the most important organ in your entire body. Why? Because it is the boss of your endocrine system. Your liver tells your heart what to do. Your liver tells your lungs what to do. Your liver tells your kidney what to do. Your liver influences the pancreas. It influences the spleen. It directly influences the gallbladder. So we learned that by detoxifying the liver, it's going to create some incredible changes in your body. So let me walk you through a little physiology and anatomy. You don't have to memorize this. Most do, but you don't have to right now. So whenever you eat anything, right, you eat the food and it goes through into your digestive tract, right? It goes into your stomach. Your stomach has 3 muscles that function in different ways to churn and break down the food, and it pushes it down into the small intestine. The function of the small intestine is for absorption. Before it absorbs, the pancreas sends enzymes, digestive enzymes, into the small intestine. It starts to break down the food. Then the broken down particles are going to make their way to the liver. Everything that you eat, drink, and breathe has to first go through the liver before it goes into the general circulation. So now it's in the liver. The liver is a filter. It's going to filter the bad from the good. The good is going to go into the general circulation, and it's going to fortify your existence. It's going to fortify your being. That's how you live. Jack LaLanne would say, what is on your table today, within 24 hours, will be material in your body. So if you have a cheeseburger on the table, you will look and feel like a cheeseburger tomorrow. If you have a delicious carne asada wet burrito with extra cheese and sauce on the outside, tomorrow you'll be walking and feeling like a burrito. But if you have a delicious piece of chicken, broccoli, some grilled asparagus, right, then you're going to fortify your body that way. Your filter, your liver, is going to separate the bad from the good. The good goes into the body, the bad stays in the liver. But the liver is very hydrophilic. That means it absorbs, it absorbs, it absorbs, it absorbs, but it gets to the point where it becomes very toxic. Your liver also produces 80% of all the chemicals in your body are produced in your liver. One in particular is estradiols, which is the precursor to estrogen. So the estradiol, let's just say estrogen. So when your liver is toxic, your estrogen level increases. Men and women have estrogen. Women produce it in the liver and the ovaries. Men produce it only in the liver, okay? So when your estrogen levels increase, your estrogen is going to compete for the same receptor site as your thyroid hormone from your thyroid gland. So what's going to happen, it's going to cause a change in the function of your thyroid gland. And we all know that our thyroid is a primary gland and organ that supports our metabolic state. So when the thyroid gland is not functioning well, these are the symptoms. You're going to eat very little and you're going to get bigger. You're going to sleep a lot and you're going to wake up tired. Your skin, your nails are not going to look as healthy as they used to. And most people are going to run to their local medical doctor. The medical doctor is going to give a brief evaluation and say, you have a thyroid issue. The latest investigation, the latest clinical investigation state that you may have a thyroid issue, but your thyroid issue is secondary to a toxic liver. That's why you find many people on thyroid medication for years and they still have a thyroid issue. But what we have found is that if you detoxify your liver first, right? You detoxify your liver, your body's own innate intelligence, it's going to decrease the estrogen, increase the function of the thyroid gland, and the power of the mated body is going to begin to do what it does, which is take care of the body. It's going to start fortifying your health. It's going to start regenerating new cells, and you're going to see a positive health manifestation. Now, I want you to stay with me. Usually I draw this, and it's a little bit easier, but I want you to visualize this. You have a very toxic liver. I don't know your age. Maybe you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. You haven't detoxified your liver ever. Maybe you're the average 50-year-old, 45-year-old that's never detoxified their liver. Your liver is filled of toxins. Toxins in your liver is like sand, very micro, like little dust particles. Now, between your liver and your gallbladder is a common bile duct with a radius, or with a diameter, it's tiny. Just enough for all this little sand particle to go from your liver into your gallbladder. In the gallbladder, that little tiny sand particle is going to calcify into what you call gallstones. So I always ask people, how many of you have ever had your gallstones? Many people raise their hands. How many of you have ever had their gallbladder removed? Some people raise their hands. So I always ask them, where do gallstones come from? And they say, well, gallstones come from what we eat. That's partially true. Actually, gallstones come from a toxic liver. But if you go to medicine, the first thing medicine is going to do is remove your gallstones. When you take the liver detox, what's going to happen, it's going to vasodilate the common bile duct. It's going to retract the stones from the gallbladder, and it's going to encapsulate the sand in the liver, and you're going to evacuate toxic stones from your liver and your gallbladder. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. Thousands and thousands and thousands of people are seeing this. They're seeing results. This happens within 24 to 48 hours. Now, I got to be clear with you. This detox system is a 30-day system. It is not, I'm going to repeat this, it is not enough to only detoxify your liver and not take your probiotics, your True Cleanse, and not take your enzymes. It is a combination. You're going to take 2 enzymes per day for the next 30 days. One with nothing in your stomach as soon as you wake up, and 1 15 minutes before you have lunch. Why? Because these are both, they're both digestive and metabolic enzymes. Digestive, so when you're going to eat something, it's going to help digest food and absorb it. Metabolic, when there's nothing in the stomach, they're gonna become like scavengers. They're gonna travel throughout the entire body, eating up all the remnants of inflammation, which is called scar tissue. So many people that have inflammatory conditions, rheumatoid arthritis, ankylosing arthritis, ankylosing spondylitis, all those inflammatory conditions, kids, people that have just had some type of trauma, your bread and butter are the enzymes. And the True Cleanse is imperative, because this is going to help to pump your lymphatic system. Your cardiovascular system is like the freeway. Your lymphatic system is like the sewage. And just like your cardiovascular system, if your arteries, your veins, your capillaries, if they become congested, we have problems. Well, if your lymphatic system becomes congested, we have bigger problems, because your lymphatic system is what carries all the waste. So when you do this system together, you see a very positive health result in a very short period of time. Again, my goal is not to make you a nutritional expert. My goal is to inspire you to start working on you, to take this product, see the results, and when you see the results, share it with the people that you know, because there's always somebody that is looking to become a little healthier. Again, my name is Dr. Luis Arriaza, and thank you for spending these last minutes with us.